The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the 5th day of May 2025. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamel Hartman, Chief to Raytel, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in the news break brought to you by People's. Teray, welcome back.
Good morning.
You know, I didn't see you at the gala. So
Really?
No, I didn't see. I might have missed you or something, you know, you short people. But
I was in school. Let the record show I was in school getting my degree over here in the UK.
So you've never skipped the class in school, like all your levels? You can tell the truth.
Sure. No, I'm sure I have.
Sure you have. So you can't remember like a skip day?
Well, yeah, maybe like in high school or like undergrad, but for my master's, I rarely have classes. Like I have to study a lot, but I rarely have classes. And the classes that I do have, I need to be at. So haven't skipped lately.
Well, let it be said on this show, folks, that one person, it's like that Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart thing, right? Like where people like, when you look at this picture, one person is a felon, the other person is not, and you'd be surprised who it is. Well, one person on here just admitted that they skipped a class or two. The other didn't. I'm just saying. You know, reputation, yeah. So I just want to put that out there for the audience, and y'all know that we're not the same. All right, we're not skipper. One's not. But yeah, we'll have to send you some video and pictures of the gala that you missed. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be there at the next one. I mean, petition to have it in the summertime when people are home, right? Like, don't forget about the students. You're coming just like the government.
Yeah. That was pretty government-esque. Yeah, that was pretty government-esque. Yeah, we definitely pulled a David Brett. No apologies for that. I tell you, my goodness, look where shit's going already, folks. Anyway, happy Monday to you. Greetings, everyone. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Amanda Daniels Allen on to share how she's empowering local entrepreneurs and business owners. So looking forward to that conversation. It is Monday, so the daily plate is Bermuda trivia today. So we'll be asking you a Bermuda specific trivia question. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, so on Friday, obviously, the events that happened on Thursday night were, let's just call it what it would be classified as in the United States, a mass shooting where 2 lives were lost. We obviously didn't do Friday Fun Day. We're not tone deaf, and it just doesn't make sense. However, I think it's like 3 or 4 days later now, and we have a tendency in our community, as we often say, to speak about things and then they just don't exist anymore, it seems. And I think it's imperative for us to continue the conversation, to have these brainstorming sessions, to have these community discussions so that we can play a role and lead to not just a safer community, but solutions, right, within our community. The question of the morning is very simple. How can the police be better supported in keeping Bermuda safe? How can the police be better supported in keeping Bermuda safe? And also, do you think, this is a yes or no, do you think the police can solve Bermuda's crimes alone? I think this question is only one answer for this, but it's just so interesting to me how we react towards the Bermuda police. And I'm not saying the police are perfect, but I don't know a place in the world where the police can do it all themselves, right? But I think the bigger question is, how can we, some who seem to have an issue like, oh, is Bermuda so small we can't solve a crime? Well, maybe that's the reason we can't, because it's so small and everyone wants to protect. I mean, look at, I hate to be graphic, look how long we protected predators in our families, right? Things of that nature. So what are your thoughts, folks? This is Monday morning. This is the daily discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan and Secure Trucking. How can the police be better supported in keeping Bermuda safe? What are your thoughts on that? I know you've got some ideas, Teray.
Well, honestly, I think this topic kind of stumps me. I don't have a lot of clarity when it comes to crime in Bermuda. I think I read a lot, but it's so complicated and honestly heartbreaking. So again, I just want to send condolences and prayers to the family and people who are affected by it, which I think is everyone in Bermuda. But I think in terms of the question, do I think the police can solve Bermuda's crimes alone? No. I also don't even think that the police are the arbiters and safeguards of safety. I remember reading a paper once that said police, they don't actually make the community safer. That has to be like a community thing. But the other question was, how can police be better supported in keeping Bermuda safe? I think the first one is like witnesses, like information. That seems to be a big problem that I know we've spoken about before. People just don't come forward for a lot of reasons. Maybe they're scared of retaliation. Maybe they're protecting somebody, like their interests are conflicted, or maybe they just don't even trust the police to do well with that information and keep them safe. Because I think about in the States, for example, like witness protection is a thing. And sometimes there are kind of mistakes even in a well-oiled system kind of like that. Whereas in Bermuda, I think those stakes are much higher and the risk is higher. And it seems that people don't take it enough.
I think everything you said is valid. I think those are things that people discuss regularly when it comes to the Bermuda police. I don't think anything you said is not normal in terms of how people think, right? But I want to take a different angle. As you may or may not know, I was part of a group of men who were fighting to end conscription, which is mandatory military service into the Bermuda Regiment. And during that fight, I always said that I think that the Bermuda Regiment can be better utilized to support the Bermuda police. It's funny because you had a comedian, former radio host. You had many older Bermudians, mainly Black, who would say, well, no, I agree with conscription. I think we need somebody to protect us in terms of war. Well, here's the thing. The regiment was not created to protect us against external forces. It was created for internal, right? And if that's right, internal security, then we have an internal security crisis that the police need help with. However, see, I'm going to give you a history lesson today. The internal security they're talking about was protecting white establishments on Front Street when riots broke out. But we never want to have that discussion, which is why I'm so confused by the likes of a Chris Famous, who is an MP for the PLP, not a Black political party at all. But I'm confused by him, who literally would say things like, oh, the Bermuda Regiment is this, that, and the other, and anti-colonial, even though it's the Royal Bermuda Regiment. But you joined an organization, you supported an organization that was never created to really protect us from the internal threats and to help with internal security. It was created and it protected, because they may have shifted, white establishments on Front Street. Let's call it what it is. I mean, I was told the stories by family and friends when the riots broke out. They weren't going to Frizzle's Hill. They weren't going to Cedar Park. They weren't going to Palmetto Road. They weren't going down North Shore. They were protecting Front Street. So if we want to have an honest, real discussion about supporting the police, start with the Bermuda Regiment. Let's start there. Again, no shade to them. Props to the brothers in the regiment who continue to volunteer and give their time and the like. But they've done a fantastic job with creating the Coast Guard, right? But but we need more. If we want to be serious, that should be the first organization we look at. I mean, you saw a few years ago when we were fighting conscription, when they were doing all this PR and crop matching the camouflage and all that stuff, the stuff to make it seem relevant. But why are they not on the streets? You saw during the pandemic, they were very helpful, and unfortunately, a soldier was impacted by selfish drivers on the road. But why are we not calling for this? Why are we so conditioned to not even consider that is supposed to be one of their main responsibilities outside of ceremonial? Internal security. We have an internal security crisis. Okay, I'm done. Go ahead.
I mean, as you were talking, I immediately thought about the pandemic, where the regiment, like, they joined the police in kind of maintaining safety or whatever. But even then, I remember hearing people say, oh, this feels wrong to me. This feels like a kind of a police state. This isn't the place of the regiment. So I think you still rub up against like levels of distrust, whether it's the police, whether it's the regiment. And I know like a lot of my friends in particular who are like very, anti-abolitionist, like they think that prison reform in itself needs to be like the topic that needs to be the agenda, not necessarily the regiment. So, I mean, I've definitely seen it, like with the regiment and the police kind of joining forces. I just think we're still going to rub up against the same problems. It might be more militant than addressing the information problems that we want to address with people not speaking up. Because I don't think that people would trust the police or the regiment more.
And I take your point, because seeing soldiers at cop match didn't make me feel safer. It made me feel exactly what you're saying, like a police state, right? It makes you feel that way. Costa Rica, interesting example. I was in graduate school, and this guy from Costa Rica, I had developed a relationship with him. We would talk. And I said to him one day, I said, why does Costa Rica have such a, like, of all the Central South American countries, has such a low crime rate? He said, we don't have a military. That was his response. He said, because we don't have a military. No, again, that was one of my ideas, folks. Again, you may disagree with it, but we are asking, how can the police be better supported in keeping Bermuda safe? How can the Bermuda police? I agree with Teray. We have people that have called up radio shows recently saying, look, people don't feel safe speaking up. Like, how can we do that?
Absolutely. I honestly, Jamal, I don't know how we do it. Like, I want to hear police officers, which we already know because we've had conversations with them. They say they're short on staff. They're short on staff because the duties of a police officer are hard. You have to engage with the public, but also police the public. That's a difficult line to toe. So I feel like this is my answer for everything, but I think it has to be like an internal kind of process where Bermudians themselves are kind of united. But it's like, if it hasn't happened now, when is it going to happen? And what is it going to take for it to happen? So like I said before, I think this topic stumps me, and I don't have a lot of clarity on this. Like, I feel like I'm very much open to a lot in this case.
I just think the criticism the police take, you would think that the public had more solutions for them, right? It's unfair and unfortunate. But I guess it's part of the course. I mean, it comes with the territory, and it's not a Bermuda thing, right? But it's a small town thing per se.
Would you become a police officer?
Well, I was always told I was too short. I don't know what they were talking about.
Because I'm thinking, I have friends who are in the military here. Like a lot of my close friends here are in the military in the US, like the Navy, or they went to West Point, and they see it as like service. And they're taught in a lot of ways how to maintain your interpersonal relationships while also fulfilling your duties to the state. And I'm wondering if that is a part of the police training. Like maybe it is, maybe it can be developed if it is, but like, I think there has to be like maybe a service orientation around it, kind of like the military. Not saying I'm supportive of it, but like, it's clearly effective.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point, right? It's supposed to be a service to the people. I think the idea of service is that you're putting the community and society first. Look, you have teachers, you have IB execs, you have people who get into spaces simply because they want to make a living, right? They want to live. Not everyone's going to do something because of what it stands for or the interest of it.
Fact.
I mean, I don't think we'll ever change that, but I think the commissioner of police came on earlier this year. They're working on numbers because they, don't have the numbers right now. They're recruiting hard. I just think that whether, between customs, the police, the regiment, there are things that we can possibly do. But I am very conscious of what you said. The more soldiers you see, it does kind of make people feel like, okay, this is a police state. It's not safe. But let's go to the audience. Audience, what do you think? How can the police be better supported in keeping Bermuda safe? And do you think the police can solve Bermuda's crimes alone? Suzanne Ingham says, BPS need the public's assistance. We need to speak up more, use the confidential line. No way to know who called in. Speak up. I heard 2 were arrested and they're still hunting for the others. Yes, the regiment can help the police too, since we are short on cops. I don't know. Maybe Maya's going to let us know. I don't know if they arrested 2 people for this latest crime. I'm not going to speak on that. But what I will say is we need to speak up more. People don't trust that the line's confidential. We've had Crime Stoppers on this show, and they, try to make people feel confident that it is anonymous. That's a hard thing to shift, Teray. That's a hard narrative to shift.
It is, and it reminds me this completely. I think I forgot about this for a while, but you grew up hearing snitches get stitches or don't snitch or whatever, right? Yeah. Like that's also a part of it. It's like, okay, that maybe we don't trust the police their competence to solve this, but also I don't want to be a snitch. I feel like people experience a moral dilemma where they're faced with like a truth of, oh yes, okay, maybe this is what I should do, but my culture and the way I was raised says that snitching is not moral. So even though I don't believe in like murder or whatever, I also cannot be complicit in snitching. I think that's also a really big thing that maybe doesn't get touched on enough, because it's a big kind of chokehold. I've heard people say, yeah, no, I'm not snitching. Like that's not my MO because of this historic distrust for Black people, particularly with law enforcement.
Yeah, indeed. I think, there are so many ways to help the police. And I like the approach that the Bermuda Police Service has taken over the last couple of years. And that approach is that if you don't trust Crime Stoppers, that's not their words, that's not mine, but speak to a police officer, they keep saying. And in Bermuda, such a small community, most of us know a police officer.
Yeah.
Right? So I think I like that approach. The snitches get stitches. I saw something recently. It was last year. I think a rapper must have got arrested, and people were like, "Oh, they keep going on this podcast, and they're what was it saying? The podcaster must keep getting people arrested." And I'm like, it's not the podcaster getting people arrested. It's the people who are doing committing the crimes. Like you get what I'm saying? Like don't put that on the podcaster. He's just asking questions. But if you're doing it, then
you are responsible.
Yeah, like I mean,
it's so manipulative. That's really manipulative, actually, to be like, oh, the podcaster is outing. It's like, no, there's you're splitting responsibility. In that case, you're right. It's not the podcaster; it's a person.
Yeah, indeed. WKD Lama says no, they cannot solve crimes without public assistance. Speaking of the police, also the public don't want to get involved. All right.
I don't like that though, because the public, they don't want to get involved until it's them. And this is, I think, the biggest stump for me. It's like we have this human exceptionalism where it's like, oh, it can never be us. But then the minute it is us, we're faced with this, again, dilemma where it's like, okay, do I or do I don't? So like, I think it's not only just a lack of empathy, but also like a survival instinct, which I can understand to some point. Like, I think at some point you have to take responsibility for your actions. And this is one of them.
Indeed. Jay Allen says, as a veteran of the British Army, I petition for conscription. There's so much learning taken from service and lacking right now. I don't know Jay Allen, but I'm a Black Bermudian. And I'm going to answer your next question in saying this. He said, a comment says, I wasn't expecting to listen to a racial broadcast. What is this? As a Black man, I don't know what race you are. This isn't a racial broadcast, but this is our reality. I'll say what Teo says all the time. There's nothing forcing you to tune in. But this isn't, I'm not going to tell you how to look at this broadcast. If you see it as racial, that's on you, but you have options. He goes on to say, for far too many people, armchair politicians ready to have an opinion without willingness to do anything. That's another far off opinion, and I'll say it this much. That far off opinion is you don't need to. Black people were never traditionally politicians who made a difference. They were activists. Nelson Mandela won because there was a version 1 and 2, was not a politician. He was an activist. Dr. King, Malcolm X, I've got quite a few names. These were activists that drove change. So no one needs to be a politician to drive change. I'm going to keep up responding. Amen. As a former British soldier, there's no greater honor than to serve one's country. I disagree highly. The amount of black soldiers, because you mentioned race, so we're going to talk about race, who went to war and were put on the front lines versus white soldiers. No, I'm not having that. All right. So it's a very different experience. Jay Allen says, honor, respect, duty. There are simply words that those who haven't worn a uniform don't truly understand. This is very true. And those are people who have worn uniforms and who do truly understand, who were treated very differently. Your reality is not everyone else's reality. All right, done with that. Charles H. Jeffs II says, Jamal's idea is an interesting one. BPS is under-resourced, so maybe the Royal Bermuda Regiment, that's RBR, could assist with the road checks and other non-confrontational ways. However, we need to be mindful of perception. Indeed. And I think that's what Teray was saying earlier. We don't want to come across as a police state. We don't want to come across as, we want to be more Costa Rica, less, I don't want to call a country's name, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's very militant. Like, I would feel so uneasy. Like during COVID, when I saw like the regiment, I felt very uneasy. And that was a pandemic, right? You're already in a state of emergency. So I think we have to be very, very careful, but also it's just like, what do we do? Like if nothing is working, I think Minister of National Security, Michael Weeks, he said there's been like I can't remember a violence reduction program that's been implemented, but like it seems like nothing is really working. So I understand if people are like, okay, we have to have a heavy hand with this because it seems like nothing else is working, or the changes that are actually needed are so long term that it's costly in the short term. And again, I don't think that's a risk that people should take.
Okay. Let's go through these last few comments before we bring in Maya and then bring in our guest for the day. Suzanne Ingham says, Teray, that's why we have the issues we do. No one will say anything. That's a big issue. And by not saying anything, you become part of the problem, and the person, the crime controls you, equals you live in fear. That's a horrible place to live, in fear. Ellen Kate Horton says, if the public refuses to get involved, then there's a serious problem. We certainly have a serious problem when parents who know their children are involved and they refuse to deal with it. We also say, Cameron Fox, he says, the gang reduction team needs to be revamped. Pastor Bean is not the answer. We need real so-called gang members to be in charge that young, troubled youth look up to and respect in the street. And Ellen Kate Horton goes on to say, Teray, why would you feel uneasy because the regiment is assisting?
I would feel uneasy if I was like traveling and I saw the regiment posted up somewhere, like just stationed. That would make me feel uneasy.
I can answer that as well, Miss Ellen Kate. When we were in Kenya in November, and you're driving in your tour bus, and all of a sudden they tell you like to the side, and I was, it does make you feel uneasy. It's like, okay, why is the military pulling us over? Like it's hard, and we may think, well, Bermuda's different. It's safe. It's this. It's that. But it doesn't give you a calming feeling. It really doesn't. And that's why years ago, when Wayne Parent-Chief was the Minister of National Security, and again, we were at the height of the conscription battle. This was leading up to the 2012 election, and they were at cop match and everything. It didn't make most people feel at ease.
Yeah.
It does make people feel like a police state. I don't think that's generational either, right?
I think it's definitely a racial thing, right? Because we know for a fact that like Black people have been policed and are still policed differently than everyone else. So like you could be recalling, people could have PTSD. I don't know, like maybe they got pulled over and something happened, like maybe they were attacked. Like there's just so many, I think, layers to Black people and policing that you have to be very delicate. But I would feel uneasy because of the history, like my experiences, even if it is the regiment, like they represent some policing authority.
There you go with the racial conversation, Teray.
Well, sorry, it's real. Like, I don't know.
Your reality, I'm sorry. Silent Kate says, I totally understand if you're in another country. Well, that's the thing. You know, I think I'll put it to you like this. I find it interesting that people could, in one breath, be anti-colonial, then be pro-Royal Bermuda Regiment. I'll use Colonel Birch as an example. I find it interesting that he could be so anti-colonial or UK or Britain, whatever it is, but accept every title that's given to him. I think that's what it comes to mind when you think about like that. Now, again, I believe the regiment can play a role, but I understand, I absolutely appreciate and understand what Teray is saying. Folks, we've got to wrap this up. We've got Maya, and we've got a very special guest coming on, Amanda Daniels. Alan, we're going to be discussing how Fusion is empowering local entrepreneurs and business owners. This conversation, your daily discussions, brought to you by our friends at Titan and Secure. I got to tell you something about Titan Express.
Oh,
yeah, I'll tell you in a few when Maya comes on.
Period.
All right.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Visit TitanEXBDA.com, your leading tour and transport provider specializing in Black history tours throughout the island. And SecureBDA.com for all your property management, waste management, residential, and commercial trucking needs. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is our commitment to you.
All righty, welcome back. Let's bring in Maya Palacio for the Daily Hour Newsbreak. And don't forget, we've got Amanda Daniels Allen coming up, speaking about Fusion and how they are empowering local entrepreneurs and business owners. Hit Maya's music.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, MP, how's the blisters?
Jamal, you're wrong. You're so wrong.
I'm sorry.
Maya, are you okay?
Honestly, I'm in pain, but I'm pushing through.
She did the end-to-end, everybody. I think Maya deserves some props. Yeah, congratulations. You did it for all of us because your boy ain't even doing the middle to end, but big up. But
you know what's funny? Sorry, what?
You had fun?
No.
Really?
Some of the water stops are obviously a lot of fun, but I was really in pain, guys. Like right before it said 10 miles left, like my hips just gave out on me, and I was like limping for like 8 miles. I was like, but I was pushing through because I was so determined to finish, and I realized the only reason why I was so determined to finish because I thought my sister did end to end when she was like in high school, and I was like, ain't no way Indigo's doing this, and I'm not. And then to come to find out she only did middle to end, and I was just like, okay.
Oh. You got by your sister. You said, you know, she did it. I could do it. I'm going to do it. And
basically,
it sounds like she got by herself.
Yeah, I should ask for
that. You know what? As I said to you, you can say you've done it. Off your bucket list. But you know what I did that was less stressful yesterday, you guys?
What?
I went on the fish sandwich tour with Titan. Yeah. We hit Seaside, we hit Mamma Mia's, my first time having a Mamma Mia's. Yep. And then we went to Whitehorse, man. But it was a cool tour. It was a cool tour. Yeah.
So Mamma Mia on top. Give us your ranking.
Like in public?
Yeah, why not? I want to do the fish tour. Like, is it in the summer? I need to know.
It was the last one yesterday. It was from like March to yesterday. Yeah.
Students left out. Students left behind.
Mamma Mia's was the best because they catered to my needs. So I don't eat cheese, I don't eat tartar sauce and all that stuff. So the first one we went to, like it said when you sign up, which no criticism, but if I could give one piece of feedback, you can't have a fish sandwich tour then have written down there with everyone who has dietary restrictions now saying no modifications. The way I would improve it is say, this is what it has on it. You can remove this, remove that, and you can order ahead. But your boy couldn't really test Seaside because You had all this stuff, you don't eat on it. You know, but Mama Mia's, they took care of her brother. They went and, you know, did a little solid for me, and I'm gonna stop, man, I'll be back. Have you all had Mama Mia's?
Yes, the GOAT. They're the best.
I have not.
Whoa, I beat Maya. I thought I was the last one, but that's what's up. That's what's up. But it was delicious, folks. If you haven't checked it out, White Horse was good too. Don't get me wrong, but I was fooled by that point because I already had enough bread from Mama Mia's, so I only ate the fish, not the sandwich. So I couldn't really give them honest, but the fish had great texture. It was good.
Okay.
Yeah. So check fish sandwich tours over. Big up to Titan and the Bermuda Tourism Authority. But if they do it again, you want to get on there, folks. It was a really cool tour. And, you know, the brother who was our tour guide, you know, told us a lot of history and things about Bermuda. But fish sandwich tour, you know, I gave my feedback just now publicly, not criticism, just feedback. Help those. A lot of people are gluten-free these days. You know, you want to kind of meet people where they are, you know. So that would be my only feedback. Like, just give people an option to modify based on their dietary restrictions. Cool.
And don't forget about the students. Maybe have something in summer.
It starts from the top, right, Teray?
Yeah, it really does.
Businesses ain't gonna do it. So let's teach the government that you know how to take care of students, audience.
All right. So good morning, everyone. This is your daily hour news break brought to you by the good people at People's Pharmacy. A reminder, Mother's Day is coming up, May 11th. So be sure to get to People's Pharmacy, get all the gifts that you need for your mom. All right. So following up from last week, we brought you a story about Surface Express Limited, Bermuda's only plant that is currently in operation producing our asphalt. So CEO Randy Rochester shared that they will be working to pave the Philadelphia Hill, formerly known as the Old Corkscrew, this month. After the story was released, many people asked, how can someone apply to work at SEL and assist with the high demand for qualified workers to pave Bermuda's roads and make the asphalt? So I got to speak to Mr. Rochester a little bit more within that story about employment processes and what options there are. So here's your follow-up.
Do we have the facilities in Bermuda to train workers to actually take over and, you know, work here?
Sure, no, there's no training facilities for anything, right? Because this is a unique job, right? So you're not going to have our company just training you for asphalt. We normally do hire someone, right? And then they get on the job training with senior employees that have been here for 30 years, like Mr. Hodge was here, and other persons that now retired. And if they show a lot of promise, like this one here, we'll send them overseas. As this one came in, picked it up right away, and just 7-8 months ago, he would have never been able to run this plant, but now he's running the plant and giving you a tour.
It will open up, and that's when all the asphalt gets dropped down.
Workforce Development has a job board site that people can apply through. But, you know, and I think if we get the word out there, but the challenge is that, you know, are there people here? You know, I heard the Chamber of Commerce breakfast the other day, our lunch started the other day, but we're down so many people in Bermuda right now. So the question is, are those people even in Bermuda at this point?
But if those individuals are in Bermuda, Mr. Rochester shares with me exactly how they can contact SEL.
So they can call the main line at 236-1776, 236-1776, and ask for myself or ask for Mr. Wendell Eve. They can also ask for Mr. Jason Jackson, who will be our operations manager. So I guess he will be the first point of contact, Mr. Jason Jackson. Again, that number is 236-1776.
I appreciate that they are trying to find Bermudians to do the work. I do. And my hope is that those interested and get the opportunity apply themselves, because there are jobs and opportunities. It's just a matter of, and this is the reality, because it's not always on the employee. Is it sustainable where someone can live a good life in Bermuda? When I say good, I'm not saying buy expensive things, go out to dinner and party all the time, but be able to pay their bills, just normal bills and stuff. So thank you for that.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of conversations I got to have with a couple of gentlemen there who even talking about, you know, when you bring people in from away, you may not even have to pay them as much as, you know, if someone was here in Bermuda. So there's that conflict as well. But again, there's just no way to get qualifications in Bermuda. So you'd have to invest to take yourself away, unless, again, on the job training, they like you enough or you do well enough that they'll send you away to get. So it's a difficult road. It's a difficult process, right? It's not some easy one step, bam. You really have to go through a lot of channels to get there. But for those who are interested, he shared that information there. All right, so now we're going to switch back over the direction of our news this morning of what we were talking about as well earlier on. So a few days ago, what we're talking about earlier on. So the island should be acutely aware, that 2 people are dead and 3 others are injured following the mass shooting at Legends nightclub in Sands. This happened on Thursday night. So here is your latest update, Bermuda. Police have stepped up patrols island-wide with a heavy focus on the western parishes. Officers are using stop-and-search powers under Section 315F, conducting liquor license checks and setting up traffic stops outside bars and clubs. The Bermuda Police Service has released security footage of the suspects fleeing the scene. They are urging the public to review the video and report any recognizable individuals or suspicious activity.
As a result of inquiries that have been conducted, we do believe that one of the men was injured during the incident. And so we're asking for your continued support, that one, if you can identify any of the 4 and now notice that there's an injury, we're asking that you make contact with us so that we can be provided with the information that you have that can assist us in this investigation.
Over the past weekend, enforcement efforts led to 7 arrests, including 1 for knife possession, 1 for dangerous driving by an underage rider, and several for outstanding warrants. Police say their visible presence has helped prevent further antisocial behavior. Additional arrests have also been made for drug-related offenses. Officers will continue stop-and-search operations in the days ahead. The public is thanked for their cooperation and encouraged to share any information anonymously if needed through the Serious Crime Unit Crime Stoppers at 800-8477 or the police reporting portal at portal.police.bm. What happened at Legends is heartbreaking, and it should matter to all of us. This isn't just about a devastating night, it's about the direction we're headed as a community. If we want a safer Bermuda, it takes more than patrols and arrests. If you saw something, if you know something, say something. For the families grieving and for the next generation watching how we respond.
I just want to ask the audience and you two, as you watch that footage, how does it make you feel seeing that footage, knowing what was about to happen?
It's chilling.
The first thing I thought was just like, they look so young.
Mm-hmm.
That was like my first initial thought was like, they look so young.
Mm-hmm.
And they're literally going in to just kill somebody. Like, what takes place from birth to now that allows your mindset to like kind of get there? Like, what has happened through life? What has happened in our community to you? Like, what is the influences that are allowing your mind to think that this is okay and justifiable and this is an act that you should be taking in your young life?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if they're even thinking that deeply into it. Like, there's this thing called the banality of evil, where sometimes people don't even think about what they have to do to achieve something. It's simply like just a means to an end, and they're not thinking about it deeply enough to even perceive it as immoral. Because there was a sense of like blasé, there was very callous, it seemed very casual on like, they were just walking up the steps, like they clearly had prepared with the mask and they have their visors down. So it almost seems like borderline thoughtless, which might even be worse.
Yeah, I think it's quite a few things. You know, to answer Taraya's question earlier, I did want to be a police officer. 2 of my cousins were sergeants. Many of you know some of my close friends are still officers to this day. I was once told by someone, you're too nice. And I know you're probably like, really? I'm too nice to be an officer, because I sympathize with people. I genuinely sympathize. I would want to really, I think, and to Maya's point, how did you end up here? Like, what happened? What was the process, right? And that's not the job of a police officer. The police officer, that's not their job. It's heartbreaking, man. And I say it's heartbreaking because having been a mentor, having coached and really tried to ensure that young men did not take that path. And I'm not making excuses for parents, but you realize that there's really sometimes only so much you can do. But each of these young people sleep somewhere.
Yeah.
If you're housing them, you are part of the problem.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's try to close this out with some brighter news. That's what I want to turn over to. Let's talk about our athletes right now, because a lot of our elite athletes and Olympic athletes are doing pretty well out there right now. So let's take a look at what they've been performing and how they've been doing. Bermuda's elite athletes are making waves on the international stage once again, from competitions to the daily grind of training. Olympian Janai Parent-Chief soared to victory at the prestigious Penn Relays in Philadelphia, taking first place in the men's Olympic development triple jump elite event with a dominant leap of 16.86 meters. That winning mark makes him the modern record holder, as it's the first time the event has been contested at the Penn Relays since 1968. He outperformed competitors from Bahamas, Jamaica, and the US. Meanwhile, in the UK, Dej Miners lined up at the Cardiff 5K, a race that typically sees over 2,000 participants. Miners placed 10th overall with a time of 14 minutes and 30 seconds, holding his own in a fiercely competitive field. And on May 4th, Olympic triathlete Erica Hawley capped off her week with what she called a Sunday brick sesh, posting new heart rate personal records for the year. It's a sign her fitness is trending in the right direction as the season heats up.
I think I pulled a hamstring watching Janai just now. Congratulations to our athletes, man. They're awesome. I love Maya's love for our athletes and the way we highlight them. But I props to it. And when Dej, he's 14 something 5K. I run a 5K in 30 plus minutes, folks.
I'm saying. You're laughing. You're so serious, because I'm trying to hit my 30-minute mark. I'm like 32, 33. Sometimes I'm like, dang, I used to be able on 25 back in my day, but yeah, I can't even.
Yeah, I'm 35 right now. That's neither here or there. Props to our athletes.
Yes.
Props to our athletes, man. How's the weather looking, Maya?
So it's looking partially cloudy this evening, increasing clouds over later tonight. So hopefully we get a little bit of sunny breaks, but just expect a lot of cloudy times. Might have a shower or two. So, when you're on that bike, just be mindful and careful.
Thank you so much. We had sun all last week, looking like rain. My goodness. How am I going to enjoy you all for this final week? Teray, give us a day of the year.
Well, I have two. Do we have any guesses what the first one is? Any Spanish speakers in the house?
¿Cómo te llama?
One more
Me
time.
llamo Maya.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. Yes, that's the first day of the year. Today is Cinco de Mayo, where people in Mexico, but also across the world, are just celebrating Mexico's defeat from the French. Not their Independence Day, but equally celebratory. So have a margarita, have whatever you want to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. But it's also National Cartoonist Day. And I was curious about you guys' favorite cartoons growing up to celebrate National Cartoonist Day.
Muppet Babies, man. Muppet Babies. Come on.
All right. Period.
I feel like everyone knows mine at this point. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
You Muppet Babies wasn't around when you were alive?
I don't know what that is.
Hang on.
Please let her know what
Muppet Babies.
I forgot you guys were born in like 2010 and stuff.
Sorry, I watched.
Whoa, nobody was born in 2010.
2010, that'll be insane. We'll be doing amazing things for 2010, I must say.
Nice.
Can you imagine?
No, literally. So Maya's Avatar, yours is Muppet Babies?
Yeah.
What was Muppet Babies? I know Avatar, but I don't know Muppet Babies.
I don't know what that is.
Audience, they don't know what Muppet. You had Miss Piggy and Kermit and all that.
Oh yeah,
I know Miss Piggy. Wait, I know Miss Piggy.
Hey, I thought they were literal Muppets. So does that count as a cartoon? I thought they were literal hand.
Muppet Babies.
Yeah, I that's Muppet
It wasn't
Babies.
animated, was it?
Wait, I know Muppet Babies, Jamel, with Miss Piggy, Gonzo, Fozzie Bear, Kermit the Frog, Ralph the Dog.
But it wasn't an animation, was it?
Yeah, it was.
I thought they were actual.
I'm pretty sure that was the one we watched before we went to football on Saturdays.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. It was animated. Yeah.
Okay, my favorite cartoon are the Powerpuff Girls. I
that
love
was a
them
good
down.
one. That was a good one growing up. Oh my gosh, Mojo Jojo. Sorry.
I love the Powerpuff Girls.
Funny
You're
story is that
done.
they would actually quote something else with a curse word in it prior to them actually releasing it during the first stages of it, and then they had to change it so it catered, more to young people.
Well, we've got Bugs Bunny in the crowd from Rosalind
Mm.
Page. We've got Looney Tunes
Classic.
from John Smith. Got Mighty Mouse
Classic.
from James Burgess. Okay.
No idea what that is.
Mighty Mouse. Yeah, I don't know that
Audience,
one.
I mean, you can see the generational gap this morning. Maya, thank you so much. Scooby Doo, says Charles. Remember Scooby Doo?
Oh, that
Yeah,
was
of
a good one.
course.
That was a
And
good
his
one,
little
yeah.
nephew Scrappy, right?
Oh, I hated that dog.
Oh, Scrappy? Come on,
I
let
like
me at him. Let me at him, Uncle Scrappy.
I like Scrappy.
Yeah, Scrappy. You remember him?
Wow, that was too good of an impression. You did that too good.
Danny Phantom. Danny Phantom was like my first boyfriend. I swear, I
was
thought
hot.
he was. Yeah.
He was hot.
Well,
Wait,
for Teray, the reason Scrappy, I was, because he was small and I was considered small back then. And so, I was, yeah.
That was a really good impression. Like you ate that. That was really, really good.
All right,
Maya.
Scrappy.
Speaking of hot cartoons, my first boyfriend was Prince Zuko from Avatar. Like I was in love with Prince Zuko.
Stop talking about your love life. You gotta get it.
Oh.
These guys are hilarious. Maya, we'll see you tomorrow. All right.
Bye, Scrappy. Bye, Teray.
Wow.
Bye.
We've got a very important guest coming up, folks. Amanda Daniels Allen. Coming up, we're going to be talking about how she's empowering local entrepreneurs. Looking forward to this conversation. Do not go anywhere. Scrappy was the guy. We'll be back in a few. Stick with us.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Hi there, welcome to Medical House. We're located at number 6 Bakery Lane. I can't wait to show you all of the great stuff that we carry. Come on inside, let's see. Long days, long shifts, you no longer have to endure comfortable underwear. Designed by nurses, we now offer premium undergarments by Swoop that are unique, fun, comfortable, and functional. The only underwear you'll ever want to wear. Who says high quality functional products can't be stylish and comfortable at the same time?
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Attention home renovators and design lovers. Your dream space starts here. The brand new Kohler retail showroom at BAC Group is now open, bringing you up to 35% savings on all Kohler products at U.S. manufacturer suggested retail prices. That means no extra fees, no freight, no wharfage, no duty, no document processing fees, just pure cutting-edge Kohler design at unbeatable value. From sleek kitchen and bathroom faucets, vanities, toilets, to statement sinks, walking tubs, and spa-worthy bathtubs, BAC brings innovation and luxury within reach. Visit the BAC showroom on Mill Creek Road today for style, quality, no surprises. Just color from BAC.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda Business starts here.
Welcome back to the big show. Teray Toll, I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical Wells, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. If you haven't already, whatever platform you're on, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure you give us a like, love, follow, share the conversation with your friends, your family, and your colleagues, even those folks you don't like at work. They may benefit from something as well. And if you know someone right now in Bermuda who is an entrepreneur, business owner, tell them to tune in, because we're about to give a warm TDH welcome to our very special guest today. We've got Amanda Daniels Allen, and she's going to be talking about fusion. It's a 2-day masterclass coming up for entrepreneurs and business owners. Let's do what we do. Give a warm TDH welcome, audience. Okay, calm down. She don't know you like that. Calm down. Well, first off, greetings and a happy Monday to you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Good morning.
Okay, so before we jump into anything, we gotta ask your favorite cartoon growing up.
Muppet Babies.
Thank you.
All the way.
Thank you. Come on. And did they make you feel old when they didn't know what Muppet Babies? Because they try to age.
They did, yes. Girls.
We knew what it was. We just didn't know it as Muppet Babies. Let the record show.
After you Google, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Googled. I was watching your eyes, and I was like, she must be reading that off of something, because all these names came, and originally it was like, no, I don't know who they are, but yeah, Muppet Babies, they are the best. He-Man, Transformers, G.I. Joe, all of those.
I forgot about G.I. Joe, man. That was, and everyone had a He-Man, like the action figure. Yep.
Skeletor.
We had a good time. We had a good childhood. I don't know what they have as cartoons now. I don't know. SpongeBob or maybe Dora, probably. Yeah, that's probably it.
And what's the big one? Coca Melon.
See, I never heard of that.
I don't know what a cocomelon is. Is it a chocolate melon? That would be amazing if it is. But,
right? It would make sense based on the name, right? Yeah. Oh boy, we're having too much fun. Look, Amanda, thank you once again for joining us. Tell the audience a bit about your background and what it is that you do.
So I am a sacred money archetype coach. I'm also a customer journey specialist. So I help business owners and entrepreneurs attract and retain the right people, because a lot of people, when it comes to business, struggle with finding the right people and gaining more and more customers so that they stay with them, then refer them on, tell everybody else about who they are, what they do. And the sacred money archetype piece is about how people make money, because everybody struggles making money in some way, shape or form. And what we don't realize, and what most people don't realize, is that we all make money in a different way. And I help you understand which archetype you are so that you can understand how you make money, what's holding you back from making more money, and the things that are kind of self-sabotaging, or the things that you may think or believe or have been in your family for generations that you've taken on board as your own. So I can help you work out what those things are so that when you are in business, you attract the right people and make more money at the same time, but in an ethical and good way, not in a grabbing, silly, takey way. We
figured, but absolute audience, I guarantee you, many people were like, wow, I didn't know that someone like her existed. I need her, right? That is something, no, seriously, that is something where, we had Craig Simmons, he's an economist, an educator, and he said it numerous times, and you know this, that 90% of businesses will fail within the first 3 years. And what you're speaking of is really beyond a business plan, right? It's beyond the business plan. It's a gap that we don't even consider. Everyone just thinks. I read a book, and I always forget the title, but it was basically about entrepreneurship, and it was a lady who was a baker at a bakery, and she's like, "Well, I'm the one doing all the work, baking the goods and doing this, doing that. Why am I working for this company? Let me go start my own." And she started her own company, and she actually had the people follow her, the customers. But she didn't understand accounting, so she couldn't do that. She didn't understand marketing. She didn't know how to market to new customers. She didn't, there was so many more components. And it was one of those things where just because you have a skill doesn't mean that you alone can do it. So she got a lesson. So what you're doing is something that I think most people, if they understand business, will appreciate fast, very fast. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the piece around the money piece is really specific and important, because people can do social media, they have a website, they have products and services. But to get people to actually buy those things and to sell without doing that face, a lot of business owners who say their fees kind of grimace either on the outside or inside. They're kind of like, my fee is this, and go, are you going to pay me that? So I'm going to help you understand what you do and help you stop doing those things as well, because it puts people off energetically. And I think a lot of people don't realize what they're doing or not doing in business. And that's what Fusion is about.
Indeed. Let's speak a bit more about Fusion. Where did the idea come from? And a bit deeper in what can people, like, what is it about? What would make someone want to get involved? And audience, if you have any questions or comments, please send them through.
So Fusion is where customer journey meets business mastery. Customer journey is the attraction. It's kind of like what I call like Hansel and Gretel, the breadcrumbs. How do you lead people to you so that they want to buy your products and services? And then business mastery is how do you stop being the person who makes the cake, like the lady that you were talking about in the book. It's not just about making the cake, it's understanding the numbers, the margins, the profit, and all of those different kinds of things, so that your business grows not only with regards to the audience that you're wanting to achieve, to attract and work with, but with the products getting bigger and bolder, people talking about you for you, people referring and recommending you, which turns it into an organic business. And I think a lot of business owners really struggle. They're in the rut of making, serving, making, selling, making, serving, making, selling. And then they're only surviving in that. And my job, along with my husband who's coming with me, our job is to help you remove that rut so that you're not just surviving, but you're thriving. You're making more money. You're going beyond maybe Bermuda. For a lot of our customers over in the UK and the US, they are growing at rates that they didn't actually expect to grow at because they're thinking very differently. So this event isn't just about what to do in business. It's about changing your perspective so that you can have bigger and broader goals that you thought that you could never achieve. But actually you can do at the same time.
You touched on this a little bit, but I want to talk more about the event itself, the Fusion event. What exactly, what outcomes can participants expect to walk away with after completing this Fusion program?
So the outcomes that they're going to walk away with, number one, is going to be confidence. Some of the work that I do is around spirituality. Whether you believe in God, Ganesha, another deity, it doesn't really matter. I work with spiritual entrepreneurs and conscious business owners who believe in something that's bigger than themselves, believe in community, believe in people, believe in service and excellence. So what you're going to walk away with are things around your identity. And who are you showing up as in your business on a regular basis? You're going to be looking at your numbers. We have a very specific exercise around the 7 numbers that people can change in their business to earn quickly. And you're going to do that in the room with us looking at your numbers as well. You're going to also change your money relationship because I'm going to do a visualization on the sacred money archetypes. You're also going to get access to the quiz so you can work out which one you are. And I can give you more detailed information about that. You're going to be able to achieve more with working less, because we're going to show you all the different ways in which you can do that through your numbers, through the products and services that you have, how to meet more people, how to talk about your offerings, how to articulate yourself, and how to attract those customers. That's the most important piece, is the client attraction. A lot of people have a business, but they're not attracting the amount or the right people in the first place. So it's not just about coming along on a day and writing down what we would call shelf development. You kind of come to a course, you write stuff in a paper, and then you put it back on your desk, and then you forget about it. This is actually on the day you're going to be doing these things. And just to also clarify, it's 2 half days, because we know Bermudians are really busy. You've either got 2 or 3 jobs, you've got other things that you need to do, you've got families to look after and all of those kind of things. So we're doing it over 2 half days to make it easier for you to actually immerse yourself for the morning and then go away. And if you've got time in the afternoon, you can go and do more of that work and then come back the next day. And we go again with different exercises and examples.
So the program blends leadership development with elements of self-discovery. How do you strike the balance between the practical skill building with the business and the more, I guess, metaphysical components like confidence and internal self-worth that, in your kind of estimation of it, are connected to the business?
Yeah, we start with the latter first. The most important thing in businesses isn't just about business. You know, there's a saying that business is just business. It's not. In my world, business is personal. And if we can't understand how we tick, how we work, how we articulate ourselves, what our nature is, and how we move in the world, it doesn't matter how many different platforms, activities, techniques that people will teach you. Sometimes it just doesn't work. And it's not based on those things. It's based on us as individuals. So we have to work out who we are first so that we can pick the right marketing tactics and processes and formulas to put into our businesses. Now, all marketing works. And some people may say, I've tried that and it didn't work, or I've tried this and it didn't work, and it worked for that person. But I just want to say all marketing works. I've been doing this for 27 years. I've run my own business this year for 19 years. I've worked with thousands of business owners in the world, not just in the UK. And I have a couple of clients in Bermuda who are absolutely smashing it as well. So first and foremost, we look at you as the individual, your identity, how you're showing up, your values, your mission, all of those kind of things. And then we step into the practicalities. Because if you don't know who you are and you're trying to copy and paste or do what other people are telling you, and it just doesn't feel right, it's still not going to work. So it's really focusing on that part first and then choosing how you're going to move through the world with your business.
And what benefits does a program like Fusion have for Bermudian entrepreneurs specifically?
So we came back a couple of years ago. I've done some presentations and talks for Ignite Bermuda a couple of times. My husband's done some different things with different organizations as well as Ignite Bermuda. And what we know to be true, and as a Bermudian I know to be true, is that Bermudians have a generational thing where money is difficult and we have to be in lots of different places at lots of different times, and we've got to work hard to be able to survive. And because the economy is constantly changing in Bermuda and rising, people aren't surviving. So specifically, the way in which Fusion is going to help you is around the money piece. This piece is the piece that most of you guys are missing, because it's that the routine, the rut, the things that we've been brought up with, the beliefs that we have, the things that our parents used to tell us or not tell us, beliefs around money. Once you sort that money piece out, the other stuff starts to flow. It's understanding where you're going, not necessarily wrong, but how you're perceiving money. It could be that you think money is the root of all evil. It could be that you think that it's only for selected types of people or different types of cultures or classes of people. It's not. Money is actually available to us all. It's how you look at it and how you perceive it. So in this event, money is the specific thing. Money's triggering. Let's just be honest, right? When we talk about it, some people shrink and hide. Some people are like, no, it's bad. Some people just don't want to talk about it at all. It's taboo. But if you can remove that feeling around money and treat it like it's your best friend, and it's somebody that you absolutely love and adore, things really do change and open up. This isn't about being greedy. This isn't about taking energy. This is about abundance, because we are all abundant. And if we believe, like, I'm going to ask you guys the question, and the audience as well, if you truly believe that money is energy, it's not just cash in the bank, it's not just things that we have or buy. If you truly believe that money is energy, we are energy as well, which means we are already abundant. And that means that something is blocking us from achieving more and getting the things that we would like. So,
interesting. We've got Charles H. Jeffs II. He says, sounds like this would be useful for all business leaders, not just entrepreneurs.
100%. So it's not just for entrepreneurs, it's for business owners, business leaders. It's for people who are in management as well, people who are running teams. But predominantly we work with the owner of the business, the founder of the business, because those people are unique to us. It's not that people who work for other people aren't unique. Sometimes you guys who work for other people don't have the authority maybe to make that decision to move really quickly, whereas the business owners and the founders who we work with can just run with what we're sharing, take immediate action, whereas the other guys have to maybe go back to the office, speak to somebody else to be able to put things in place. So it won't happen as quickly for them, but it will happen either way. So yeah, it is for business leaders.
How does this program differ from similar programs with similar offerings?
There isn't a similar program in Bermuda. And the reason why I can say that is because I'm a sacred money archetype coach. There's only 2 people on the island that have had a reading from me and 1 person who's in my 6-month program. So this isn't the same as what you've already got. That's why I'm bringing it back home, because I know the Bermudians, people in my family, people in your families want to earn more money because they want to make more impact with the community. Like the stuff that you've already been talking about on the news, it's all about community. That's what it's about. So if you can make more impact with your community by earning more, you can give back more, and then everybody is aligned and working well together. So
remind people where it takes place, how to sign up, where they can go to learn more.
Okay, so it's taking place on Wednesday and Thursday, the 14th and 15th of May, which is next week. It's happening at the Tree House, which is on Trot Road in Hamilton. Very excited to be being at the Tree House because it's like a yoga place, sound bath. So it's a lovely venue. If you haven't been there before, please do come along. And so it's happening there. It's 9 till 1. On both days. So arrive, a little bit before 9, get yourself seated. We're going to do half the day on the Wednesday, half the day on the Thursday. And if you'd like, you've got the opportunity to come and join us for lunch. It's not in the ticket, but a lot of people have questions after these things, and I can give you a link for people to sign up and pop that into the show notes or whatever.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm very familiar with Treehouse. I went there to do yoga for the first time last week, and
did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. I realized I'm not as young and flexible as you thought, but I had a wonderful time, and Tiffany is a wonderful instructor. Folks, this is the website up on the screen right now where you can go and register. Right? If you want to walk them through this.
So it's going to happen in 8 days, which is very exciting. And you can see what we've put on the top there is, do you feel like your business could make a bigger impact? Are you ready to grow beyond the traditional form of a business model? And that this isn't just a normal seminar. This has spirituality built into it. And it's not completely woo, but it is talking about sacred money archetypes, identity, who you are, and how to call all of that back. If it sounds familiar to you that working harder is something that's in your DNA, it feels like you've constantly got to work hard. You don't. There's a different way of doing it. And there's some testimonials. You've also got Jay and I, who are the mentors for the day. And we both bring very different things to the table, which is very good. We've got masculine and feminine energy, obviously, but also we both carry those. And the things that happen in Fusion will be transformational. In the first, I would say, 2 hours, you will be thinking very differently before the end of that session. So you can pay single pay, which is $300 for your ticket for the 2 days, or you can split the payments if it's easier for you. And these are all the different things that you will take away. We've got 8 different masterclasses that we're going to run on the day. And the first 10, sorry, I haven't told you this, but the first 10 people who book their tickets will get a money matrix reading from myself, which is an hour long, and a signed copy of Jay's book as well. So,
alrighty, this is amazing. This is amazing. Thank you so much for that. We do have Charles H. Jefferson. One more before we let you go. He says, has Amanda and her husband considered running a leadership program in Bermuda that would be open to business and government leaders? Bermuda can use that. I did one before returning home.
Yes, we have. We actually had conversations with the chamber last year. Things changed, and we weren't able to move forward with that. So I'm in hope that we can speak to chamber when we're back in Bermuda next week. Actually, we leave Thursday and we arrive back on island on Friday. So we are going to be having lots more conversations. We would love to be able to bring this and help all Bermudians tap into the abundance that they actually have. It's just trying to get in front of the right people, hence why I'm on the Daily Hour today, and speaking to lots of other people as well. So I would love to run something for business leaders in Bermuda. So if you would like to reach out to me, feel free. We can have a conversation and maybe even meet up for a real coffee at Brew or Devil's Island Coffee or somewhere. Yeah.
Thank you so much. This is well, I think Bermudians will appreciate this for various reasons, not just business owners and entrepreneurs, but as you said, business leaders, and as Charles is suggesting, throughout various organizations, including government. So thank you for doing this. I definitely, folks, the website to go to, just give them the URL real quick.
So shall I pop it into the chat? It's easier to do that because it's quite long. So I'll pop that into the studio chat there.
No problem.
People can have a good read about it. So
thank you for that. This is helpful. So folks, if you are interested, you can just go to mytruenorth.ac page.com/fusion-BDA. So check it out. If you're interested, just send me an email, send a Daily Hour an email, and we'll get you the page. Amanda, thank you so much for making time and trusting up our page, and all the best with the event. Stay in touch.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
All right. Amanda Daniels-Allen, folks, if you appreciated the conversation this morning, you know what to do. Give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. We're going to take our final break, and we'll be back after this. It's Bermuda Trivia. Let's see if you all have today's answer. Stick with us. Yeah, it's Ray.
April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Children depend on every single caring adult in our community to make sure they are safe from sexual harm. Keeping them safe not just in April, but every day. Whether you're a parent, a guardian, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, or a caregiver, we ask that you take just 3 hours out of your busy schedule to learn what you can do to make sure the precious children in your life are protected. They are worth it. Join the SCARS certified adults by simply visiting our website to sign up for a free SCARS training session. Learn about online and body safety, how to protect them, and how to respond if they are harmed. This information is vital to their well-being and their future. Because they are children, it is our responsibility, Bermuda, to protect them. Visit scarsbermuda.com and learn what you can do to help the child in your life stay safe.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Noah's Ark Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
BAC's new color showroom is now open. Throughout April, for every $50 spent, your name will be entered to win great raffle prizes. Come learn from BAC, where luxury meets affordability.
All righty, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to Amanda Daniels-Allen, folks, for stopping by. If you appreciated the conversation, don't just give us a love, like, follow, and share the link with your friends and family, but please do reach out. Go to their website as showed on the screen earlier. Sign up or register, or let someone you know who might benefit from it to register as well. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to have these conversations with you on a regular basis. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, Teray, are you ready?
Ready.
All right, here we go. Teray, it's Bermuda Trivia today. Audience, which Gumbe troop practices at Pigsfield in Pembroke?
H&H?
Ah, look at that.
You know what's crazy? I had no idea. I didn't know where Pigsfield was, what like the routine was for Gumbes. I just said, this is my intuitive guess, and I'm doing it.
Let's go back a minute. You don't know where Pigsfield is?
No. I'm from country. I'm from the West.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Well, Traveling Trotty, I don't think she's from the West, but she said places.
Places.
Karen Simmons said H&H.
Yes, Karen.
I'm gonna guess. Let me look at my keyboard. The J and the H are next to one another, so she meant H&H, not JJ. Yeah.
Yeah, Renee. She usually gets everything right. Yeah, she's on it.
Okay, we're gonna give it that. Alrighty. Final thoughts on this morning's conversation. What you got for us, Teray?
Final thoughts are: I agree with Charles Jeffers. I think you had a really interesting idea about like the regiment and the police, kind of doing something together to ensure that violence is reduced. Potentially, this is in the works, but I think it's going to take creative ideas to reduce violence. I also want to reiterate and just send prayers and condolences to everyone who was affected by the violence, either directly or indirectly, and also just encourage anyone who has information to come forward, because it's chilling. Like when Maya showed the video, I was like really uneasy because it affects everyone. But on a positive note, I'm really happy that our athletes are doing good wherever they are. And also shout out to Maya for running end to end, and shout out to you for doing yoga. For the first time at Treehouse, I love yoga, so you definitely should keep it up. You know, helps balancing the chakras. But I also really enjoyed the conversation with Amanda. I think like that was a really interesting conversation, also something that I think a lot of Bermudians would benefit from, both entrepreneurs and business leaders. Like I think everyone can tap into self-knowledge for the purpose of a business goal, but also just generally just existing. And it just makes it a lot easier when you have a knowledge of self. Helps you connect better. So I really appreciated that. And I hope people who are interested do sign up for it.
Yeah, indeed. I echo everything you said. I think, as I said on Friday, we've allowed something to become a norm. The police cannot do it alone. No one in the community is able to do anything alone. It requires the efforts of others. And, as Amanda mentioned when she spoke, like community, right? That's what helps your business. I think everything we do on this show is community first. And that's what it's gonna take. You just said, if you know something, say something. I don't want to have to see the regiment involved, but the police need help. They need help. And I think we all have a role to play in assisting them in ensuring that Bermuda is safe, and that people can just, if they want to go to a bar for fellowship, they can feel safe going to a bar for fellowship and not have to worry about someone running up in there and possibly taking their life. We've seen this happen in restaurants recently at Divots some years ago during lunch. It cannot be the norm. I'll continue to repeat that. It cannot be the norm. As far as the conversation with Amanda, look, I love people who support entrepreneurs and business leaders. I think we need more of them. But I think one of the things I took away from her more than anything is she's here to really help you. And I think something that so many small business owners don't realize is they can't do it alone. I think what she's there is to fill a gap, to say, hey, I'm going to help you achieve what it is you want, but you have to first realize you can't do it all yourself. I'm looking forward to see how engagement. Unfortunately, I'm not present in Bermuda, but hopefully some of you all know people who can benefit from it, and you register them, give somebody a
gift.
Yeah. You got some daily inspiration for us, Teray?
I do, but first I have a question for you.
What?
Have you seen the movie Sinners?
Well, Maya told me I have to go see it. And I was going to go see it on Friday, but they stopped playing it on Thursday and they're not bringing it back until I leave. So that's my answer.
Jamal, you gotta see it. Like when you touch down in ATL, before you go home and unpack your luggage, you need to go to a movie theater and watch Sinners. I think you would really like it. Can you take horrors?
Yeah, I don't mind horrors.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure because some parts are gory. The horror felt like a subplot to me, like it wasn't the main purpose, but it does have horror and gory elements, which turned me off initially. But I'm glad that I went because the horror is definitely a subplot. So watch Sinners, and to everyone in the audience, go watch Sinners. Michael B. Jordan is in it. Ryan Coogler directed it. They're both 10s, like they're both excellent. Go watch it. But for the daily inspiration, this one is from Nelson Mandela, and it's for people, everyone, like students, teachers, entrepreneurs. It says, for this month, may your choices reflect your hopes and not your fears.
I appreciate that. Love it. Thank you for that. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lenders, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Teray Toll. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out.